So with Marvel Spider-Man 2 releasing in just under 10 months, I want to take you back on a trip to the first two games and really show you the evolution of the Insomniac Spider-Man games and what it may mean for us in the new ones. Starting with Spider-Man 2018. This was the game that initiated the universe and gave us a spectacular Spider-Man gameplay experience. This game, compared to older generations at the time, showcased a huge, lifelike and highly accurate map that provided us with hours of entertainment from crime fighting, taking down bases, doing side quests, and of course swinging. Speaking of which, the swinging was really immersive too, as it really allowed you to do tricks and dives and made you feel like you're a Spider-Man patrolling the city of New York. However, the story side of the game is where it really excels, as it portrays one of the best adaptations of Spider-Man across any medium, and showcases a really personal narrative where Peter is faced with constant problems, and in its centre is all of his friends and family who ended up suffering the consequences of his enemies' actions. This story was quite short and easy to complete compared to other games across the market, and even afterwards with all the other challenges and content in it, it is still one of the easiest games to platinum. But the game isn't perfect, as we all know. There are some things that they could have done differently, and other things that they could have added to enhance the gameplay further. The problems weren't even that big. It was just the little details of gameplay which were all fixed in the Spider-Man Miles Morales game that released just 2 years later.
They can get us, they checking and drip when I flip up the building, yeah.
This game focused on the origin story of Miles Morales, who was introduced to us in the first game and showed us his struggles of attempting to live up to the legacy of Peter Parker as a nuclear reactor and his best friend threatens the city. The story of this game was really short, especially when compared to the original game, and this actually played to its advantage as the game was then used more of a testing ground to experiment with the Spider-Man experience. Almost all of the minor problems that I had with Spider-Man 2018 were resolved in Spider-Man Miles Morales. Stuff like being able to change the weather and time of day from wherever you are, rather than being limited to just doing them from these rooftop labs. How air tricks were improved to contain a variety of options, allowing you to fully express yourself while swinging, rather than just the 5 that we were limited to in the original game. Also how bases offer more to do in them, rather than just taking down the bad guys and leaving. And even the little details, such as how each finisher felt more natural and epic, worthy of having that slow-mo effect on it, which, to be fair, is also helped by the exaggerated swagger of a black teen. And also even having webbed rockets explode on impact, just making the experience of the game that little bit better. But the gameplay also updated on a different scale as well, as none of Miles' suits offered suit powers that allowed you to take down a large group of enemies like the first game did. However, in replacement to this, Miles had venom and camouflage powers, which allows for more variety and options during the combat, as well as more opportunity for mods, as it introduced lens mods for more suit upgradability. Now, the map for this game is the exact same size as Spider-Man 2018, with the exact same things to explore as well. However, due to the Christmas timeline of the story, the city takes on a snowy coat, giving it a full-on winter aesthetic, which changes the visuals of the game massively. The addition of snow adds ice, which allows for more reflections, actual weather, which is variable to your liking, as well as a stunning pinkish blue sunset to light up the sky. Playing this game on PlayStation 4 is just beautiful. But then you play it on the PS5 and it is taken to the absolute next level, thanks to the next generation hardware that made these visuals possible. So even if the story isn't as long or as enticing as the original one, Miles Morales was still a great game in terms of gameplay, as it really was a more refined version of Spider-Man 2018. So now this leads us to 2023, with the upcoming release of Marvel Spider-Man 2. Insomniac has already proved themselves to Spider-Man Miles Morales that they know how to listen to the feedback of the community and make little updates to make the gameplay that little bit better. But the problem was that Miles Morales was more like a DLC. The main story only takes like 6 hours to be completed, compared to the approximate 23 hours the Spider-Man 2018 takes to complete. Even if Miles Morales is a more refined version of the game, Spider-Man 2018 is the actual full-fledged game here. And Spider-Man 2, if you couldn't guess by the title, is going to be the sequel of that game. This isn't just going to be 10 hours of gameplay at most. This game is going to be huge, to a level that we genuinely cannot comprehend. If all Insomniac does is improve, then sure enough for the sequel, they aren't just going to sit around and make some small refinements to the gameplay, tied to a new story and call it a day, because that definitely does not take up the potential 5 years they've been developing this. They will 100% take things to the next level with this game, and on the side they are going to be refining more of those little problems that we had with the original game. Things like how all suit powers barely does anything, and the only suit power that actually holds a significant potential for combat actually does practically nothing. So Insomniac has shown and confirmed in the teaser the Iron Spider arms will be getting a whole makeover, as it now comes with its own unique finishers and is confirmed to be getting a unique set of air tricks as well, which Peter Spider-Man would also be getting a major air trick revamp after everyone fell in love with Miles's. Spider-Man 2 is also confirmed to have an enormous map, which makes sense because we've been playing in the same map for the past 5 years, and if Insomniac were to re-release that same old map with a different setting, then let's be honest, that's going to be kind of boring. And it was already set up from Spider-Man Miles Morales that Peter moved back into Aunt May's house in Queens, so it is obvious at this point that the city will be expanded eastwards towards Queens, with Brooklyn in the middle to bridge that gap. Quite literally as well. Now, it is unconfirmed exactly how much of the districts we'll be getting to actually play in. However, the mention of the 2 boroughs alone already adds endless potential for longer story, gameplay, missions, collectibles, and exploration. And also the fact that this game will now be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, meaning that it won't be backwards compatible to be available on the PlayStation 4, meaning the game will be given complete control over the next generation hardware, which no other company has dared to yet. Which will take the visuals of the game to an entirely new level above Spider-Man Miles Morales, as that game was compatible on both generations of the console. The fact that Insomniac only has to put in that focus to making the game compatible with the one set of components, as both editions of the PS5 are the same, the game is limited to just that hardware to run from, and means it doesn't have to work with the 3 different editions of the PS4 that it otherwise had to deal with, which is not only almost 10 years old now, but makes the development of the game much harder. And this choice of making it a PS5 exclusive already shows.
Came to see progress of the game and just kind of check up on it. They said that when he was looking at it, he didn't even think it would, like, he thought it was a cutscene. It was so well done that he didn't think that was the actual gameplay.
That just puts it into perspective how big this jump to PS5 truly is, and how many other companies have missed out on this opportunity of stunning graphics in their new games. But just to re-emphasize for you, Insomniac knows how to improve each game they make, and they won't be taking Marvel Spider-Man 2 lightly. The refinements made to Spider-Man Miles Morales gives a perspective of how much they can do to make Spider-Man 2 a real sequel and a massive game worth all the hype and attention. And to put into perspective the vast size the map of Spider-Man 2 has the potential of having, I would recommend checking out this video here, as it will tell you everything that you need to know about it. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Please leave a like if you did find the video interesting, and I shall see you guys in the next one.